What does it mean to be truly vulnerable? I think myself included and many ENFJs would like to think that we're super vulnerable, aren't we? We're always sharing our life with everyone we meet. I'm just telling strangers about my opinions and about who I am on the internet. I do a lot of things that you would conventionally find vulnerable, but I have to make this a venting video because that's the space authentically where I'm at right now. I just met with this woman. She's not my life coach, but she's like a spiritual, she's a tutor for, she is a life coach, and she also tutors spiritual principles to people. And I'm talking about unity principles, which I can maybe link more below if you're interested. Not really trying to talk about that. She's just a very positive person and is, I believe, an ENFJ, and she's a type 1. She actually teaches an Enneagram class that I've been going to. Anyway, she just offered to get coffee, and I wasn't sure if it was going to be like a counseling session, but it sort of ended up being a free counseling session. She just sort of looked at me and had me start talking, and something that I realized is that, you know, sharing vulnerable things, like cognitively being like, this is a big deal to me, I'm gonna share to someone, and being there with that feeling are two different things. And I realized something with me is that I don't think that my emotions show on my face as much as I think, or as much as I would like to think. My best friend even told me that she never sees me like lose face. Like I'm always like on. And I think it's sometimes hard to empathize with me whenever I am always on, and the side of myself that I'm showing to people. Whoa. Okay. Not gonna do that. Sorry if I cause any dizziness. I think the side of myself that I show to others is the good side, and I don't think I ever show the bad side because I don't think I'm okay with the bad side. And the same with humanity. I'm not okay with the dark sides of humanity. And I have a really hard time empathizing with people whenever I feel like they aren't being their best. But if you ever feel like that's how I'm seeming, just understand that that also means that I don't empathize with the dark parts of me. Basically, people can say that they're vulnerable by sharing things, but that's not the same thing as actually being in that emotionally vulnerable place and opening up your heart. I'm trying really hard right now to be present with that emotion and not just shove it away. I even feel like right now I'm not being 100% vulnerable. I'm turning this emotion that I'm feeling about me, and I'm turning it into a lesson for you. But that's not true. I am not above you just because I'm teaching you or telling you something. I am on the same level. I need to bring myself down a sec. Whoa. This is hard. I don't know if you guys, I feel like tongue-tied now, but I don't know if you guys just realize how, so I hate being an ENFJ type 2 sometimes, because I I really just feel like I'm never going to be loved. And I understand how annoying that is. And I feel like I've stopped doing things to seek attention in that regard. But I'm trying to authentically do things to make me a better person, so that therefore maybe I will feel love in my life. Maybe I will feel intimacy. Maybe I will feel happy. All these things. And sometimes the story I tell myself is that that's not possible. And I don't want this to sound like a whiny video. I don't know if it does, or if that's just me judging myself, being like, this is whiny, make this interesting, like, shut up. I'm mostly just talking because I want to do it as an exercise for myself to be vulnerable, and because I need to upload a video today, and because I think that whenever I watch videos of people being vulnerable, makes me happy, makes me feel like I'm not alone. And I think I want to promote people feeling like they can be vulnerable. And let's just talk about the word vulnerable for a sec. When I think of that word, I think about how, like, I think, hey, sharing emotions isn't vulnerable, it's strong, is like what I tend to think. But what about actually vulnerable? What about that feeling when you feel weak as fuck and you feel like, I am not the person that I want to be. I have so much left to go. What about that moment when you feel weak? When you think about your dreams and you feel so far away from your dreams. The person that you are today has so much growing to do, so many emotions that you need to process, and so much sadness and hardness that you need to soften before you're even close to becoming where you want to be. What about that feeling? I've had a hard couple years and some events in my life that were very traumatic to me. Might not be for everyone. Okay, I'm gonna stop making digressions, but basically my worldview and my identity was like completely shaken, like time after time after time. And as an ENFJ, I don't really look back. I'm always looking forward, always trying to go forward, be a better person, solve things, do things. But I don't often look back at how the past shapes me and how certain events can have a severe impact on the way that I view the world. Basically, the events that happened made me feel betrayed, made me feel like I was wrong about being positive. I look back at my younger self and I think about how naive she is, and I think all these events that happened in a row made me feel unlovable, made me feel like I had no faith in the world, made me feel alone, made me feel intrinsically different than everyone and othered. And I didn't want to feel that. I don't want to feel different. Even if people would tell me, like my friends would be like, oh, but you're just so much more mature, or so much friendlier, or so much kinder than other people. That doesn't make me feel better. It's not fun. And I'm not saying that this is who I am, or that this is true, but it's not fun to be the only kind person. Like, if you are one of the only kind people in a sea of assholes, that's not fun. So if you ever find yourself telling yourself that that's the story that you live, I would say especially NFPs and NFJs, like any NF type, might get stuck in this trap of thinking like, I'm kind, but the world isn't. Might feel good for our ego to think that we are somehow better than or something, but I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy, like to be different. And I mean, not like different. Ugh. Words are hard. Like, I already know, like, I don't think this video is gonna connect well with thinkers because I feel like I'm not making logical sense right now, but I am trying. Yeah, just the way I've dealt with a lot of things, I have watched myself harden over like vulnerable wounds, and maybe that's just life, maybe everyone does this, but I'm very susceptible to it and to feeling those differences in me, how like a life event can completely shake up my worldview. Everything I believed was true about the world is now not. I think that a lot of people are feeling that way in regards to the president and in regards to this political climate. A lot of people are saying, does the truth even matter? Does humanity even matter? Does my voice even matter? A lot of people are having these questions that it's heavy shit. Like, this is messing with your and shaking up the way you view the world and testing you. And that's basically what it is that I felt like the past 2 years have been full of tests back and forth, one after the other. And I'm happy that I've learned, but I'm realizing now how I view kindness as a principle that one ought to do. You ought to be kind, but I don't necessarily feel love for people. I mean, I do. Like, you realize that I'm being very hard on myself right now, and I'm also holding myself to very high standards when I say this. I'm saying that being kind and loving became principles to me, logically, cognitively, to do, and not something to be. I want to feel soft. I want to feel like I could receive love. That's another thing. I have a really hard time receiving love because I think there's a part of me that just feels unworthy. And I'm even finding myself wanting to explain and do all these things and tell you so that to make sure that anyone watching this doesn't get me wrong. I'm just gonna say that I do hope it doesn't seem like I'm complaining. I feel like I'm just musing about and like trying to be present with myself and trying to honor myself. I really don't. Now my mind's just like, I really don't see how anyone watched this. This is so boring. Like, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know why you're making all these videos. Nobody even cares about you. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, you're talking about things that don't make sense. Like, nobody cares about feeling this feeling that you're talking about. Like, you're never going to be understood. You're never going to be loved. And I don't want to believe that, but that's what I believe right now. And so I'm really trying to challenge myself to continue talking and to continue feeling vulnerable. I'm not going to turn this video off until I feel vulnerable. And I don't know, like, I just, oftentimes it's like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do to feel happy because I feel like I'm doing everything. I guess my point, actually I'm gonna just end this here because I feel like I'm mentally clogged right now. But I think I need to just be with this feeling and stop trying to talk and stop trying to do. And just accept that my feeling is saying that I need to be alone. But anyway, I'm saying that just sharing how you think and how you feel isn't necessarily vulnerable. And try and feel it in your heart. I don't know. Actually, I'm not even going to tell you what to do. Do whatever you want. I'm just going to share from me and not tell you what to do. And say that I don't let myself feel. Even though I'm a feeler first, I think this is a ENFJ problem that we can get into. We could tell ourselves the story that we're too much, nobody cares about us as much as we care. And I don't let myself sit with my dark feelings. And I'm too busy trying to help others, and I'm too busy trying to improve my life, and too busy trying to do all these things, and I just have a lot of darkness in me, and I'm wanting to do this video as maybe a not perfect video. I'm trying to challenge myself with letting myself be okay with certain things, and letting myself be okay with that. This is where I am right now. I'm not where I want to be eventually, but it's where I am right now. So thank you for listening. I'm still, oh my gosh, I'm still just seeing myself want to be like. Anyway, that's that. Thanks for watching. I'm feeling myself wanting to talk like this now and talk confident and blah blah blah. And this is what ENFJs do. ENFJs are like, hey guys, how's it going? Blah blah blah. Even though my heart is fucking burning right now. I am not okay. I'm not okay. But I'm able to act okay, right? Like, I'm able to talk about you instead of me, right? Like, I'm able to portray this sort of confidence, portray this fact I know what I'm talking about. I'm able to get sort of like self-righteous seeming. I don't know. I'm just full of self-loathing right now. Like, look, what I just said, the way I just said I'm just full of self-loathing right now, this is me telling you without being it. Did I sound like someone who was self-loathing? No, I sounded like someone that was very confident. And this is what I do because it's, for some reason, I'm not able to be there. I'm not able to cry. I'm not able to look like someone that feels like they're self-loathing. And I feel like I'm not ever going to find connection if I'm not able to show people the negative parts of myself so that they feel comfortable around me and so that they know that, like, I'm a human too, because I feel like people disrespect me all the time and I'm very hurt by it and I'm very susceptible to it, and I just shut it out. I shut it out because I don't want them to know that they disrespected me. I'll say, like, hey, you disrespected me, you should stop. But I won't, like, cry, you know? Like, because I don't want to give anyone the satisfaction of thinking that they hurt me, you know? And, okay. I feel like I showed some vulnerability, so that's enough for the day. Thank you for listening. I appreciate you so much. Please comment and please subscribe if you made it this far.